online Zoom. Here joined with Rachel Chambers, Lydia Staudt, and Dana Sullivan. This is our 6th edition of our leadership, second one virtually with not being in school. So just review from last week. We talked about how our response influences our outcome with our events that we can't control, how we control our response to get an outcome that we want. We talked, how no blame, complain, and defend our responses, and how those gets us into trouble with some negative people. After our video went out, I had a student, Libby McKegg, texted, and she's like, "Oh, it made me think of that one leadership that, what are you doing to make it better?" So when we blame, complain, and defend, kind of reflect and talk about what are we doing to make it better. And that reflection aspect is also what we're going to talk about today a little bit with the mindset we talked about last week. Now we're going to talk about some skills this week. Into the first one is press and pause, and how that makes us a better person and gets us a better response. Obviously, in the situation that we're in right now, a lot of us have been paused for almost 7 or so weeks. I think actually maybe 4 of them. My wife, yesterday would be 1 month since we were been in school. So Lydia, how have you pressed pause here lately in your daily routine? Oh, Rachel?
Right now, so not being able to see some of our friends that we usually would see every day and throughout the whole day is something that has really changed, and you got to press pause and be able to say, okay, now I have to change this, and can't do that anymore, to be a leader and to lead by following.
I think it's pretty impressive right now that Lydia literally pressed pause. Oh, now she's gone. I know she was having problems with her internet, so I'm sure she'll join us again. But she literally pressed pause. So what did you say? When was the last time you two have seen each other, Rachel?
It would have been a month yesterday. We would have.
Are you doing okay?
I'm doing fine. We're both kind of going a little crazy, but it's okay.
So how do you two stay connected then? Or with some of your other friends?
So we definitely have group chats where we all kind of check up on each other, and then when we get emails or we get Google Classroom notifications from our teachers, we're like, okay, you need to go check this out, because not everybody is really on their computers right now, honestly. And so then saying that, giving them a heads up, okay, you need to go check this out. Or when Mr. Durance had that meeting, or that virtual meeting, or where he was going to let us know everything, we're like, okay guys, it's from 1 to 1:45, that's our time. And we made sure that everyone was on it, and then some people were kind of busy, so we're like, okay, we'll let you know what's going on. And then we just kind of talked in the chat, and we're like, okay, this is what you missed, and then just kind of keeping each other in line.
Awesome. So looking out for each other pretty well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dana, how have your life pressed pause so far?
Oh man, well, I have 2 little ones, right? So I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old, and they don't know how to press pause really. And you would know too, Tyler, but mine are at the age where they have a lot of friends from school, and so they want to have a lot of play dates. And they just can't happen, and it's so hard to explain to them why we can't have friends over, we can't go to this place or that place or hang out, things like that. And they, depending on where they're at, sometimes they have a different set of rules, and they have to make sure that they are kind of following my rules when they're with me, and making sure that they're staying away from others. And honestly, it's kind of nice, because we've created a little bit of a schedule. And I'm not going to lie, I was not a great teacher at the beginning. I did not do the whole homeschooling thing. I won't go out there and say that I'm better than any one of you guys out there, because I did not do it well at all until I figured out that it was all TV all the time, because there was nothing to do. So I had my 2 kids kind of create a schedule. Really, they only have an hour of educational time, which I don't think is too much to ask. Half hour of reading and a half hour of little IXL or abcya.com. And then, I make them have activity time with me or with each other. They need to get outside or play cards. And actually, it's really brought us together. So that's been really nice in our house.
That is, you talked about going places. My 3-year-old, if we kind of drive just to get out of the house. And then if, we got to run to the grocery store and run and get gas or something, she loves going in the stores. And, explaining to a 3-year-old right now, no, you have to stay in the car is very, very hard. So even this morning, we got to go get groceries at some point today. We're like, we can't take the kids because Lakin's going to get mad that she can't go in the store. So right there, our event of, we can't control her not being able to go in the store changes how we approach it, because, if we bring her, it's just going to be not a good situation, because she's going to want to go in the store and obviously she can't. So, just those changes in our daily life as well. Just because she can't do it with the situation that we're in. So, there's
Guys,
really.
you guys are talking about your small children, but us 16, 17-year-olds are all kind of like same way. We all want to really go out with our friends, but we also have to know that that's not going to fix the problem this summer. And that's something that we all are really talking about right now, and it's all over social media our age. People stay home. We got things to do in May, June, July that we really want to do is play baseball, play softball. And right now, if you're going to go out and about, it's not going to get any better. So kind of putting that in everybody's heads our age is something that we can understand. But to do it is the other part.
Welcome back, Lydia.
Hi, Lydia.
So we talked. There's really three ways to press pause. And the first one is predicting situations, predicting events, and kind of preparing ourselves for those events. How can you guys think of an event or something that you guys have experienced where you knew this event was coming, or even if you didn't know it was coming, and had to predict or kind of say, this is how I would respond in this situation, if it comes up?
Rachel, you can go. So we kind of talked about, something that kind of relates to me is, so I had to do an online class for American history if I wanted to get into 2 math classes so I could kind of keep going on with math. And the response that I had was, I'll do it tomorrow. And then I kept saying that tomorrow, and then I ended up having the class very, very behind, and so then I had to come back with that. And it was just something that I needed to try and stay on track with, but I didn't have a good response to that. And I kind of learned my lesson from that is just make sure you kind of plan ahead and be like, okay, I'll do so much each day, instead of just doing it all at once and being all stressed out. And I remember going into Mr. Sullivan, and I was like, this is crazy. I mean, there's no way I'm going to get this done. And she's like, you just got to sit down and just got to do it. So I just did.
Yeah. And here's one of my rules in baseball is the 24-hour rule. If you have a game and a parent is upset or a player is upset, 24 hours. So, we'll talk about it in 24 hours. Probably my guess, something went wrong in the baseball game, something happened that people are upset and kind of mad. And in 24 hours, we probably, that pause can then have a good conversation about what happened.
Gotcha.
Rachel, don't feel bad. I have the same situation. I'm in some classes right now, and I keep procrastinating on one particular assignment, and I keep thinking, okay, if I would just really, there's not a lot going on in my life right now, given that we don't even have to go to school. If I would just press pause at home for an hour and get my assignment done, I'm just as bad as, you know, I'm a student also. Back, you know, in your situation, that's something that you wanted to do. You chose to do that. You know, you chose to learn that way in order to help you excel in a different area. Same with me. I have chosen to be involved in this class in order to excel my life in some way or another. I just need to pause where I'm at and just do it, you know, and think through what's the best outcome for me.
And it's, you know, it's easy when we, you know, when we're doing all this stuff and we're busy and, you know, we're trying to manage school and life and sports and all this, and then obviously a family, you know, it's pausing is tough. You know, when I get home from school, when I get home from practice, when I, you know, anytime that happens, just to, you know, press pause to, you know, get your mind right. And that's what they're going to talk about next week. But, you know, just that in our busy lives and schedule, it's just hard to do. And it really takes practice, you know, because, you know, we're not good at it. We know we need to do it, but it's hard. And, you know, whether it's a second, whether it's 24 hours, whether it's a week, you know, that pause is really important. And the more that we do it, I think the shorter those pauses will be. You know, you talked about, you know, sports or your online class or anything like that, you know, then when those situations come up, we got some better skills. And you talked about homework. You know, events, you know, come up that we can't predict. You know, teacher gives a test or, you know, pop quiz or anything like that. You know, so the second part is event, and then I pause before I respond. So, you know, is there, you know, a time where you can think of an event where you've had to pause to give yourself that response that you want for that outcome?
Hey,
Dana, you can go first.
Rachel, can I give you this situation? I hope I'm not embarrassing our team here, but let's talk about our one-run loss to North Scott at the state tournament.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I know it's sports related, and I tried to not give too many examples like this, but when Mr. Downing was asking the question, I was like, whoa. So Mr. Downing, let us tell you about a little situation. After we lost that game, it was a heartbreaker. I mean, it was whether we were going for third and fourth or whether we were going for first and second, and we lost, and we were going for third and fourth, and everybody was heartbroken. I mean, no one was mad at anybody else. We were just down in the dumps, heartbroken. We came home from Fort Dodge. Everybody slept in their own homes that night. And we came back. We were supposed to have practice the next day. We had one day off. Our game was on Wednesday. We had one day off to practice on Thursday. We had a game on Friday. So Thursday morning comes around. We have 9 a.m. practice. I guarantee you every single person on that team was dreading that practice. No one wanted to go. It's like we kind of wanted to be together, but no one really wanted to go. And you could tell that, you know, head coach Bolin was not wanting to be there either. He was actually the last one to show up to practice, which is very unusual. When he got there, the team was in a circle around the pitcher's mound, just absolutely pausing, reflecting. This was the situation.
Mm-hmm.
This was the event. This
For
is
a good 3 to 5 minutes, probably.
Yep, and we all just kind of leaned on each other about, you know, it wasn't about the game at that point. It was about, there were so many emotions with all of us. How could we help each other get through that event? Like, how did we pause and sit and think, you know, this was, some of these events will be a once in a lifetime, you know, whether it's that situation or whether it's this year with COVID-19 and prom and commencement, or whether it was, you know, somebody's big chance to debut for, you know, drama or choir or band, whatever it might be, and you didn't get the response that you wanted. You didn't get the outcome in that event that you wanted. How important was it for us, Rachel, to sit and pause and reflect on how this is more than a game or more than sports. This is us as human beings, and this is going to shape our lives.
Mm-hmm.
You guys as players, me as a coach, the amount of love and unconditional respect we had for each other, we had to pause and realize that no matter what the outcome, we needed to pause and be there for each other.
Mhm.
Don't you agree?
Yeah, that was really the biggest thing, was kind of picking each other up. I mean, we were all down in the dumps, but we didn't really want to leave anybody behind. And just that was something that we didn't think we were going to get over, because we were going to go. If we wouldn't have sat in that circle, we might have brought it into the game on Friday, and then probably wouldn't have won that game if we would have had the same attitude as we did at that practice, just kind of down in the dumps, like, oh, our season's kind of, this isn't how we really wanted to end. But then again, we had to open our mindset to being like, okay, we're here. We have to take what's ours. Take third. That was our plan, was, okay, now we don't want to go and just leave it as that. We want to make sure we go out with a boom. So getting that third place was something that really picked us up there. And even that same day, I remember I was like, okay, everybody, we're going to go and we're going to bond. And we went to Clear Lake that day, and we all kind of just got our minds away from softball for a little bit, which was really nice. And that was kind of more of a pause to just kind of get away and come back the next day and kick some butt.
I think that really led into a lot of really great friendships. It helped with the 2019-2020 school year, and walking in that first day of school as leaders with heads held high, and new relationships have formed, and friendships had really kind of blossomed, and there were some really great young leaders just from a summer of fun and craziness. But I don't know as though that would have happened had you ladies not paused and really fed into each other and helped each other become better people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think even, you could even break it down into class periods. I have a bad first period, or, whatever. And then in my transition from first hour to second hour, just that 4-minute passing time, maybe that pause that you need, to go have a good second hour or third hour or whatever, whatever it is. So that, even that short time, you said 3 to 5 minutes in your meeting, 4 minutes of passing time, it doesn't seem like a lot, but, that's enough time to collect yourself and make that situation happen. Because like you guys said, your outcome of the day before, you can't change it anymore. It's over. And now we have to move on and go to the next one. And exactly like you guys said, you could go one way as, poor, or I could have a good game the next time, just by taking those few minutes to collect yourself. So I think that's a great example. And, it happens, every single day. So then the third one go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, Mr. Downing, even as an adult, wouldn't you say that this applies to us as well? And I mean, it's a technique that both adults and students can use. I would pose it to my 6-year-old and 8-year-old. I mean, we have bad class periods where maybe something's going on at home, or something's going on with our friends or in our life. And we really need that 4 minutes of passing time to kind of get our own minds right for the next students that are coming in.
Yeah, definitely. Even my drive from work to home is about 4 or 5 minutes. So that's, just have a bad practice. Anything like that. It's just that time alone. And like you said, even Lakin. She's 3. So try to, what does she want? Whatever, if she wants it now. So to try to get her to be like, be patient, we're coming. Just to try to get her, to kind of work on those skills as well, that, I'm not the only person here, and I do need to get in there. Sun's really coming up. So yeah, it's a life skill. It's not a sports skill. It's not a high school skill. It's a life skill for adults and kids, no matter what that age is. So I think, yeah, just my event. What am I going to do about it? To give me a response, to give me the outcome that I want. So here's the third one to kind of wrap up things, reflective pause. After events happen, maybe we didn't get the outcome that we wanted. How can we make ourselves better moving forward to change our response to get us that outcome that we want? Rachel?
So you can kind of talk more about outcome. Kind of talk about maybe like homework or presentation. So when you're doing those presentations, you can stop and be like, okay, so then now I'm going to talk about this. You kind of reflect on what you had just said or had just done, and then use that to go on. That's kind of what we kind of wrote down and kind of talk about a little bit more, is how you just kind of stop and reflect on what you did before, maybe on a test or something, like, okay, so then that question, and reflect on that one.
Right. So maybe, talk math. We got a math teacher here, and you talked about math earlier, right? Maybe I don't do so well on a math test, right? I take a test today. I didn't do very well. What can I do, or what should I do, to change that?
Yeah. If from a teacher's perspective, I would, even as a teacher, I look at that and I think, okay, did a lot of my students do poorly? Was it something that I, overlooked and need to go back through and teach? Or if it's, if it's just a pocketed number of students, like, one or just a very few number of students, what I want to see is I want to see those students come in and take initiative for their own learning and say, hey, Ms. Sullivan, can I come back in here? Can we talk during that win time, and can we go over some of this and look through it? Rachel, when you got, if you've ever had a grade less than what you desired in, say, math or whatever subject, I guess, what do you do? Do you procrastinate and let it go, or do you stop in right away? I mean, I think having you as a student, I know what your response is, so I'm leading you to a really good answer here.
Definitely going right away, because if they see, like, you can, as now I'm a sophomore, my whole entire freshman year and my first semester of sophomore year, I really tried to make sure I got in there right away, so the teachers saw that, okay, she's really passionate about making sure, and she's passionate and responsible. That's kind of what I want the teachers to see, that, okay, she's really trying hard, and then they kind of like, okay, I'll help you a little bit more. If you're more respectful to them, I feel that they're going to be a little bit more helpful. They're going to be like, they're going to want to work with you and have the will to do that. So just having that respect for them and for the responsibility is something that's very key to making sure you, with your homework and getting that done.
All right, so let's go the other way, Rachel. What would be a bad reflective pause? You just get your math test back. What would be a bad reaction to that outcome?
Blaming the teacher. That's something that when you first said that, just going on and blaming the teacher when they probably taught you it correctly and taught you how to do it, but you maybe not doing your homework or not paying attention in class, or just putting the blame on other people is something that you probably don't want to do, because then they're going to feel attacked, and then it's just not a good reflective pause to put on someone else, putting the blame on someone else.
Hey, do you think that applies to relationships, well, at any age, but at your age as well? If you have a friendship that something goes wrong and it's immediate, I think they talked about it last week, but the blame game, instead of, pausing reflectively and saying, hey, in this friendship, I guess I could have seen it from this person's point of view, and really taking that pause to think, man, how could I make this better with my friend? Put you and Lydia, right now, let's take the fact that Lydia's internet connection isn't working great today. Are you going to after this and be like, what the heck, you left me hanging? Or, you know what, hey, thanks, friend. I get it. It didn't work out for you, and there's nothing either one of us could do about it, and make sure that relationship stays strong.
Yeah, I don't want to go at her and attack her, because I know that she really wanted to be a part of this, and having your internet not work is already bad enough. She's probably kind of sad right now that it's not working. So just going at her and blaming her, or using harsh words maybe against her, and raising my voice, or in any situation, not even this one, in any relationship with anybody, is just, it's not going to work. They're never going to want to talk to you about the situation, and that's what's going to make everything hard.
Yeah. Good work. I mean, I think, our time's probably we'll cut it short here, or cut it off here. And I think that was great conversation about press and pause, and, not only in athletics and teaching and life and 3-year-olds and 8-year-olds. it's a good system, to give you those outcomes that you want. So, Rachel and Dana, thanks for joining us. I think insightful. Hopefully, advertise this, put it on Twitter and Facebook, and tell your friends. Rachel, like you said, spread the words, because it's a great message. So hopefully next week we'll come back. It won't be us. We'll talk about getting your mind right and different things. So we'll get some new faces on here, so you don't have to see my mug anymore. But again, thanks for joining us, and hope you enjoyed it.